Fun fact, when I part my hair down the middle like this, it means I need to get a haircut. Hi there. I sort of wonder how many people come into this channel, see the teaser, hit that bumper music and go, I'm not listening to this, and they just drop out. That's the kind of level of granularity I can't get out of YouTube. But hey, how you guys doing? Thanks for sticking through the bumper music. My name is Charles Ray Dawson. I'm the real estate broker over here, associate real estate broker, assistant real estate broker, residential sales manager, and all-around cool dude over here at ProStar Realty. This is the Unnamed Real Estate Podcast, and this is episode 189. All right, so it is Thursday. Nobody is in the office just yet, so let's see how much we can get knocked out before somebody starts walking in here and want to ask me silly questions. Got a whole bunch of fun stuff going on. So it happened. We got the 50. Okay, and that was the news. I was literally getting texts from my lenders yesterday, and that's more than I was hoping for, and it's definitely had an impact on real estate, although not in the ways you might think. All right, so let's break it down. All right, as everybody knows who's been paying attention, our interest rates have been slightly going down week over week. All right, we've been in the low sixes. All right, everybody is saying that the fives are where it's going to be. Are we going to hit the fives? Well, let's find out. Rates were going down. The Fed, which we've been waiting for forever, came out with a half-point shift in their lending rates, right, which is going to have big impacts on cars and credit cards and other kind of spending. Now, real estate is tied in more to the 10-year Treasury bond, all right, and that's been trending down. So we've seen that, and what's funny is when the rate hit, you actually saw real estate rates go up a little bit. Why is that? Well, nobody knows nothing about nothing. Okay, that's a big part of it. Right? What's going on along these lines is that people, were already anticipating that, so that was already baked into the cake. All right, but when the 5 did come out, they were like, wow, the Fed thinks the economy is worse than we actually felt like it is, or what they've been telling us, right? This is a serious jump, because they also came out and said, oh yeah, we're not just dropping a whole point this year in the 3.5 months remaining. We anticipate doing another full point next year. All right, that shook a lot of people up because, as we all know, at least in the initial reports, the economy is doing stellar, all right? And they adjust the numbers 3 or 4 months later when nobody's paying attention to say, no, this is how it actually is going. But, all right, that sort of an announcement going, hey, not only do we think we need a full rate in the next 3 months, but then we need another point over the 12 months after that, that might have rattled a couple cages. So once again, we will continue to watch. What does this mean to you, the homeowner or the future home buyer? Well, rates are still going to continue going down. All right. We anecdotally, I was talking to an agent that we were interviewing last week, and he said he had 3 separate buyers who are all consider themselves sophisticated, relatively with it, in the know, and they are all anticipating, they expect 5.5 is when they decide they want to get in. All right. I actually got to question their sophistication at a certain point, right? Because the next question is, well, when do you think that will happen? And they're like, oh, it'll probably happen sometime next year. So I'm going to wait until next year. Well, congratulations. Remember, you can refinance out, and then the house that you're buying a year from now, all right, even if it's 9 months, let's say you decide to kick in off in June of next year when we hit 5.5. All right. You're now sitting there with all the other people who decided 5.5 is the magic number, 5's the magic number. All right. And we've been seeing that a lot with a lot of people. In fact, Inman, all right, had a line right here. Existing home sales continue to slide as buyers bide their time. The number one reasons why they're saying buyers are not buying right now is because they're all anticipating lower interest rates. And by anticipating those lower interest rates, they're just stacking up at the door. So when they all decide to go, they're all going to be going. So that is Well, that's just one of the things about the world, you know. It's like you have the people who think they are the smart ones in the room, and the smart ones in the room have already left the room because the party was over 30 minutes ago, and they don't want to stick around having to clean up the dishes afterwards. So we got that going on right now. A couple other things we got going on I think is really interesting. I just saw a chart today, and I so want to bring this chart in. All right. And yeah, my exciting Twitter feed includes stuff like this chart right here. Okay, let's take a look at this. This is a comparison of new versus existing home sales price. In this chart on the top, red is a house that is brand new, just built, and is being sold to a buyer. Okay, 9 times out of 10 with the builder providing the financing. Right? As you can see, generally, new cars sell for more than old cars. New houses sell more than old houses. Until we just got to here, okay? And we actually crossed over a little bit to where one brief second, all right, the existing houses started costing more than the new builds. You know, notice this has been narrowing down for a bit, and we had this little point right here. Okay, so when you start looking at stuff like this, it's like, okay, how do you justify paying more for an existing house than for a brand new house, fresh off the lot? And I've been chewing on this for a bit, and as you can see, we had this little spike here in 2021. Okay, where existing houses are worth more than brand new builds. Okay, and then we had this little spike here. Remember, also during this time period, you also had the supply chain was all screwed up because of COVID. All right, that could have brought things together. Let's bring it together now. I think, and this is just a me thing, new builds are great in really bad locations. All right, remember, I was talking Maricopa last week. All right, the price difference between Maricopa and the downtown area. What does Maricopa not have than the Glendale Peoria house has? Right? What it doesn't have is the convenience of getting to where you need to be quickly. Right? Glendale, hop on the 101. Peoria, hop on the 101. Maybe the 17. You can get places a lot quicker, and you got a lot more stuff going on around you in those two locations than Maricopa. So could this existing home sale price merging with, all right, the new builds be because the new builds are on the exurbs, all right, which is you got the suburbs, the exurbs are on the other side of that before you hit rural, all right. These new builds are mostly out in the exurbs area. And they just don't have the facilities and all the they don't have Red Lobster. They don't have, Payway or anything else that you could go over to. Interesting question. All right. Just to follow up on that. We only have so much land until we invade Mexico again. And personally, I think the Indian reservations would be an easier push than Mexico if we suddenly needed a lot of lands really quickly, but that's just beside the point. With a finite amount of land, right? Now, we have infill projects, right? And those are where they come in there and let's say, they take down buildings that are not being used properly or very, very old, and they put a new little mini subdivision in, and then you'll get the location bonus, right? But most of the time, these houses are going to be so equal square footage, equal amenities, one's 15 miles out of town and a good 20, 30 minutes extra onto the commute to work, then you start seeing the benefits in it. So that's what this chart got me thinking about this morning. Next chart, and this is from the Cromford report, and they did this one on the 15th. All right, let's take a look at this. These are your price per square foot. All right, now, if you're looking at this on your phone, God bless you, you're not going to be able to see these numbers, right? But price per square foot leads with Paradise Valley, then hits Scottsdale, Carefree, Fountain Hills, and Rio Verde. All right, Cave Creek comes in at number 6, and then Phoenix at 7. All right, then for some strange reason, Wickenburg. All right, Wickenburg has actually got a higher price per square foot than Tempe. Let's look at the bottom, though. Coolidge, Arizona City, and there's Maricopa, and there's Casa Grande. Price per square feet. All right. even though they have been going up, okay, they've only gone up 1.7, 1.3%. Florence is at 2% over at 193.59 square foot. All right. Let's compare this chart. I'm doing everything a little bit backwards today to this chart. All right. There's Fountain Hills. There's Paradise Valley. Strong sellers market. Fountain Hills, Chandler, Paradise Valley, Scottsdale, Avondale, Glendale. All strong sellers market. Where's the deals? Buckeyes down 6%. All right. They were at 71.6, which is a strong buyer's market. Now they're in 67.6. That's almost apocalyptic. If you see that hit 5, we're going to have a bad day in Maricopa. All right. For people who need to sell a house. If you do not need to sell a house and just want to sell a house, well, look at your wants, right? Is this a need or is this a want? All right. So last Friday I got asked, Ray, when's the crash going to happen? My new stock answer is I look somebody right in the eye and say, when California stops sucking. And then I start getting into metrics. And then I start throwing numbers at them, and I see their eyes glaze over. But it's usually good for a laugh. But still, as long as people keep moving to Arizona, we're not going to have that crash. And if we do have that crash, it's going to be systemic across the board, and it's going to be because of something other than real estate. All right. We did the real estate push, crash where the dynamics of the loans were poor, right? The individual buyers and the individual investors were doing hinky things. Everybody was doing hinky things in, 06, 07, all right? Notice I never say 08, but 06, 07, everybody was doing hinky things back then. Everybody knew it. You had those arms floating around out there. You had people who were refinancing the houses 4 or 5 times a year. We don't have that kind of stuff going on. If a real estate market was to crash, it would be because the interest rates went through the freaking roof and nobody could literally afford to buy or sell. All right. What would cause that kind of interest rates? Well, we already had it. Okay. We already had those things push up to 7s, right? We're touching 8s. All right. So those people out there who were looking for the crash, yeah, you missed it again. But wrapping up this numbers and everything like that, I find it really interesting. We got one people who are just chomping at the bit to buy, but they want 5.5. You got another people who are interested in buying after this perceived crash. Now the 5.5 people and the crash people, they got 2 almost polar opposite views. All right. And it'll be really interesting to see how this plays out. So where am I at? If you need a house, buy a house. If you don't need a house, call me up and we'll sell that house. All right. If you're in a van down by the river, if you're a veteran, I can help you. If you're not a veteran, there are city facilities for that. Anything along those lines? Yeah, that's where we're at. So now I'm doing things backwards today because I'm also running this experiment is like figuring out whether or not I throw the numbers out last, like these numbers right here. Okay, or maybe I might actually just dump these numbers because I seem to be the only one getting any value out of it. But these are the numbers for September 19th, 2024. Actives this week are 18,971, up 371 from the previous week. New listings are at 2,114, up 30. Contracts are at 1,990, down 27. Closings were at 1,277. Coming soon to an MLS near you is 753. Our supply went up to 75.8. Our demand stayed the same at 73.0, even though Cromford Report was seeing an increase in demand. By the time they printed that and the time I ran these numbers, you could see that got backed off real quick, leaving us with a Cromford Report number of 96.3, still considered a balanced market. So what else do we got going on? I anticipate no new major changes. The reason why I just paused is I think my screen just paused. I'm going to be really interested on the video whether or not the video had that big long pause or that was just me, because my counter just stopped, my screen just stopped, and yeah, once again, things are getting hot in here. And so but not outside. It's actually really cool, right? Even though for some reason my laptop keeps running hotter and hotter and hotter, we're breaking into the 70s at night. I'm opening up windows, okay? In fact, we just had yesterday our first day without triple digits temperatures in like forever. We're creeping over into what we call fall, okay? And fall in Arizona as you walk outside and go, God, this is a balmy 95 degrees out here. I think I might need to get a sweater, all right? So, and then, so it's fall. It's fall for us, all right? And it means nothing to you guys in other states and like that. But in about month and a half, I'm going to be sending you pictures that'll just make you vomit, all right? Because we're going to be living our best life down here because we're coming into the 5 months of the year that we love living in Phoenix, and you guys are all going to be shoveling snow, all right? So what does that mean to everybody on here? Well, we're still in swimming pools, so we're watching our children, pets around the water, right? I think we're done with the monsoons, right? But as always, and we're never driving into anything flooded, okay? We are always working our circles now more than ever. Man, I had something really great I wanted to talk about that on working circles and whatnot. But one of the, circle number 3 is, of course, your friends and family and stuff like that. I got a call yesterday from, one of my clients, one of my friends, one of my veterans at the VFW post, right? Because he had fallen and hit his head, all right, and gave himself a concussion. He's got 9 stitches, all right. Visited him this morning. He sort of looks like Frankenstein, actually, though there's more up here. And hey, who doesn't have multiple scars from hitting your heads? But still, I'm very happy that he called me and let me know, all right. I like to be in his circle. Right, he is definitely in one of mine, and for anybody who's wondering, he is doing okay. But think about somebody that you have in one of your circles, you haven't talked to in a while, reach out, give them a call, going, hey, Ray told me to call you, all right? And other than that, I want you guys to have a great weekend, and it sounds like somebody just came into the office. Talk to you guys later.